All right, we have another match. We have more Starcraft at hand. As we get into the round of 8 here, we have our blue Protoss in the upper left-hand corner of Oceanborn. It's Dragon Kites's Hero. And he is up against the red Zerg. In the lower right, Dongregu. Now, DRG just took down Estrella. And actually, game 1 was same spawn positions. Even the same wall by Estrella in that game. So, you know, off to a good start here for DRG. That was a bit of a weird game. DRG sacrificing a lot of economy in, like, the mid-game. And then his late-game army composition was Ling, Bane, Roach. And he just kind of rolled Estrella. I have a feeling this game is going to be a bit different. Hero. I mean, I say that, but, like, Hero's definitely going to open with the Stargate and go for the Oracle Adept Harass, right? Like, it's absolutely what Hero's going to do, so maybe it won't feel that different from the Estrella DRG series at all. As we get into the round of 8, the other matches also shaping up pretty nicely. We have Parting versus Stats, Dark versus Nightmare, and Gumiho versus Estrella. Some absolutely sick round of 8 matches. Incredible. I believe Dave Testa is casting Gumiho Creator. Steadfast said he was going to cover Dark versus Nightmare. I don't think we have an English cast of Parting versus Stats. So, I'm pretty sure Anki was covering that one. But that's like a super exciting match, right? Parting versus Stats. Both post-military. So sick. Yeah, not a lot of Terrans in the bracket, unfortunately. Bjorn and Cure were signed up but did not check in, which does happen. So we ended up being very Protoss heavy. Honestly, kind of thankful DRG made it through to the round of 8, so our round of 8 has 3 non-Protosses at the very least. It is really funny how similar the opening of this game is to the opening of Estrella DRG. Again, like, same spawn positions. It's obviously not going to be all that different PvZ openings, but this is really nice for Hero, though. Clears that creep tumor up and actually lets this pylon finish. He wants to get this drone, but the queens are going to bully that Adept away. DRG will kill the pylon, take the base. But obviously, this is a big delay on the third. Not the hugest deal for DRG, but definitely annoying. And the Adepts are going to continue this harassment, actually finishing that shade. There are 3 queens here, though. They have to deal with this little patch of no creep, and I think that's why Hero went for that shade, because they were all just off creep. Oh, the Evo Chamber does not get down, and that is already 2 drones going down. The Adepts will both get out of there, too. This one on 4 hit points. Oh, my God. Already a great opening here for Hero. Did lose the pylon from earlier, but man, this is so annoying for DRG. The Queens are doing a much better job now, though. They shuffle that Oracle away. The Adepts get behind the mineral line again, but they're going to have to shade away, somehow still staying alive. And Hero, in the meantime, going for his third base, still just pumping out Oracles for now. There is the Forge. I'm imagining there will be a Twilight Council. Hey, look at that. Shocking stuff. Could be Blink or Charge, though. That'll be the next fun step for Hero. And DRG right now, I think, is just mostly trying to stabilize and keep his build going. Doesn't seem he's got any aggressive plans in the near future. Just deflecting this harassment, keeping the drones pumping out, and probably taking a 4th base fairly soon, I would imagine. Two Oracles hit the main base. Hero, very good on the Oracle control, decides not to pull that one back. Gets 4 kills, but loses 1 Oracle, and this one takes a lot of damage. Honestly, I don't think that was super worth it. And right as I say, oh, Hero, he's so good at his Oracle control, he damaged 3 different drones there. Lost an Oracle. Honestly, not a great showing from Hero's Oracles in that one. Not what we expect to see from Hero. Another Oracle will come join the fray. There's that 4th base. And it is going to be Blinking +1 for Hero. More gates going down. Actually, quite a few gates going down. So that makes me think Hero is going to start poking with his Stalkers. And he is not going to stop poking with his Stalkers for a long time. And he is just going to try to build that Stalker army up. And this, it's very reminiscent from what we saw from Estrella. A big difference, though, is that he's got this +1 cranking out. And that's going to finish around the same time as Blink. So the Stalkers are going to be stronger. He didn't do that much damage early on, but he disrupted a lot of DRG's early game, and he was doing it very early, and just kind of continued being annoying. So I feel like DRG isn't in as nice of a spot as he might like to be. Not that he's super far behind or anything, but might make that first wave of Stalkers a little bit more difficult to deal with. And here's Hero moving out with his Blinky Boys, or his nearly Blinky Boys. They are going to get a little bit surrounded here. 10 seconds to blink. Oh, no, where's the Oracles? Oh, my God. DRG, is he doing it again? He's going to get on top of these Stalkers gate. Only gets 2. Doesn't quite get that 3rd one. I feel like it would have been worth just clicking on that bad boy. Does get a couple of Stalkers right before Blink finishes, though. Damages a few other ones. Hero is going to push up, though. He's going to push up. DRG getting more Lings out to try to deal with this. Bringing the Queens forward. But Hero just clearing space so he can take this 4th base. Doesn't want to overcommit. Ooh, looks like DRG's going for the counterattack. He is clicked over here. Sending the Lings into the 3rd base. There's no static defense here except for 1 sentry. That force field, that's the latest force field I've ever seen in my life. The shield battery goes down, and the probes are getting obliterated. A couple of Zealots warp in, but oh man, that is 12 probes dead just like that. Hero is going to recall on the other side of the map, losing a couple of Stalkers in doing so. This base stays alive. Stalkers will come clear this up. Oh, that Ling really went for the kill on this 1 hit point Stalker. I saw him nosing for him. But DRG keeps his base alive. He keeps his drones alive. I think he lost 1 more there. And does big damage to Hero's economy. Hero's 4th base is done, but it's going to take him a minute to catch back up in terms of the workers. DRG is going to be able to go grab a 5th base and just keep on pumping these units. I think he's going to do the same thing here that he did against Estrella and just go for a big Ling, Bane, Roach swarm and try to outdo the amount of units that Hero has. Now, Hero went for a quicker Templar Archives than we saw Stray go for earlier. I know I keep comparing it to that game, but this is a very apt comparison to a game we just watched. And it means that Hero's going to be able to have Storm fairly soon. So when a big engagement does happen between DRG's Ling, Bane, Roach and Hero's Warp Gate-based army, Storm is going to be available. And I think that's going to be a big difference from what we saw in the earlier series where DRG just overwhelmed Estrella. The Archons weren't enough splash damage to deal with the Lings and Banes. The Stalkers got blown to bits, and then the Roaches cleaned everything up. Storm here can make a massive difference. If the Lings and Banes get hit with a big storm, they will die much, much faster. And here we go. There's the big storms going in. Now it is an Archon being morphed. Super Shield Battery is turned on. The Banelings will break through that. But a couple more storms come down, and now suddenly all of the Lings and Banes are dead. And the Roaches and Stalkers can fight toe-to-toe. The Roaches turn around and fight, though. Great choice there from DRG as the Stalkers blinked a little bit far forward. But I think this is going much better for Hero than DRG was anticipating. He is forced to pull on back, and he is just making a ton of Lings right now, trying to get out as many as possible. But the supplies are still, they're still pretty close here, slightly in favor of DRG. But he is going for overwhelming numbers. I don't know that he has overwhelming numbers right now. That being said, the sooner he hits, the less likely it is Hero's going to have more Storm available, more Warpins. So DRG, I think he wants to use these reinforcements he just made as quickly as possible. He does have Lings and Banes on the other side as well, going to be looking to get into this base. Hero Oh, he's got a High Templar here, but there's no Storm available on it. It doesn't have energy yet, so it's just a few Stalkers and a cannon. Shield Battery Overcharge does get turned on. Baneling's going to try to blast through. There's the Storm, but 10 probes going down nonetheless, as will that Shield Battery. All this static defense going to fall as well. Hero losing 16 more workers. That's not the biggest deal in the world. DRG's economy is only at 71 drones. But still not what Hero's looking for at this stage of the game. However, it does look like he wants to push out, try to do some damage of his own. He's got a massive Stalker army, 31 Stalkers, just one Archon and a few High Templar to help support them. Now, the Stalker's going to be excellent against the Roaches, pretty solid against the Lings and Banes, but the Lings and Banes just going for the full counterattack again. This third base getting absolutely destroyed. Hero, though, he's going to be able to kill the fourth base. Oh, but the Roaches catching a lot of these reinforcements. The Stalkers blink forward, taking kind of a disadvantageous fight. There are some Storms available, but the High Templar getting jumped on the backside. And the Storms landing mostly on the Roaches. Even if Hero trades decently here, I feel like DRG's still in a better spot. He's up so many workers. The Natural's starting to get hit a little bit as the third base is just completely dead. The Lings decide to run all the way home, and Hero's army is just decimated. The Lings say, actually, we don't need to run all the way home. You don't have any army left to worry about. The Shield Battery, yeah, they're going to be out, and these Lings are just doing so much damage. I think DRG's overrunning Hero. The Storm's not going to be enough to save him as the Lings and Roaches dive in. The one Oracle is turned on, but that is it. DRG takes game number 1. Can a Protoss stop this man? Is this possible? Hero, our number 1 seed in the bracket. Just getting kind of slapped in game 1 there. It's so funny, like, DRG played the exact same thing he did against Estrella. Just straight up, same strategy. We got there a little differently, but pretty much identical games. I thought that Storm would have helped him a lot more. And I think, you know, it's funny, I think initially it did. But it turned out to just be Hero moving out instead of playing defensively. You know, he's against a low-tech, not like low economy, but pretty low economy. It was 71 drones. Low-tech, low-economy Zerg on Lingbane Roach. I think you just play defensively there. You know, carefully take a 5th base, and you put yourself in a good spot. That is not what happened in that game. It turns out moving out on creep was not the right choice. Hard to know in the moment, especially when you're up against somebody of this caliber. Let's get into game 2. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner, we have Dragon Kites's Hero. Falling 0-1 against the one true Dong. Dong Regu. DRG, one of the only Korean pro players that is not named either after a random name, a random word from the English dictionary, or just using his own name. As I believe Dongregu is the region that he is from, if I'm not mistaken. I do love the naming conventions of Korean pro players, though, where they're like, "Oh, I need like a pro name. Just gonna pick a word. Gonna pick a word. Doesn't matter what it is. Just picking it. Doesn't even matter if other players have already picked it. I'm gonna go with Hero, which is fair. You know, I mean, a lot of us out here, we're watching these games and we're holding out for a hero till the end of the night. He's got to be strong, and he's got to be fast, and he's got to be, you know, Protoss. Oh, man, that stats parting match. It seems so interesting. I think a big part of what makes that interesting, obviously, I love both stats imparting as players and as people. They're just wonderful. But also, I feel like the play styles are so interesting. And because both players were gone for a while, I feel like they're going to play a different PvP than a lot of other Protosses would. I don't know. It's a very interesting matchup. I know Parting's been playing a lot of Stormgate, which I believe is Dark right now. So he's back on to Starcraft. But in any case, it is good to have Stats back as well. And he's been looking very strong. Stats has been killing it. And then we have DRG killing it here. Honestly, good stuff all around. Now Hero's got to step his game up. He's going to send a third Adept out. That's the secret sauce. How do you step your game up against somebody like DRG? Just add an extra Adept. Boom, easy peasy. If 2 Adepts is hard to handle, 3 Adepts has to be even harder to handle. But DRG, again, building a lot of Lings here. This has been kind of a hallmark of his openings. He's going very Ling heavy. The Oracle's going to get into the main base. There are 2 Queens here, but the Spore finishing just a little late to save those 2 drones. Still, though, this is like excellent early game defense from DRG. I've seen a lot of Zergs struggle to handle this kind of pressure from high-level Protosses like Hero and Max Packs. DRG, though, he's got it covered, man. He knows what's coming, and he knows how he wants to handle it. Just builds a few extra Lings, keeps the Queens going, makes sure they're in the right position. We'll see if he can keep it up here as the Oracles come back in. 2 of them this time. The Ling's going to counterattack, and these 2 Adepts are here. But the Lings are just hard-clicked on this Nexus. I don't know if they get this. Ooh, yeah. He's going to run away. Decides not to keep sacrificing Lings for that. The Oracles haven't found a way in just yet. More Adepts coming out from Hero. And this is actually when Blink Stalkers were really becoming popular in PvZ. We saw this a lot. Where it's like an early 5 or 6 Adepts going out. In this case, 7 Adepts, actually. And just putting on some harassment while like Blink and +1 are on the way back at home. This is already getting a lot of damage done. Oracle's coming in as well. The Adepts, I think they're not going to finish that Shade. Instead, sticking around to fight this Queen. Stasis Trap getting put down as well to help defend against any Lings or Queens that might come in. Although it's going to just get killed by the Queens here. But as those Queens move over here... Oh, wait, hold on. The Adept shaded into the clutches of the Zerglings. So they're going to be forced to recall. But then Hero's got his third up back at home. He's got Blink and +1 on the way. 10 drones just went down, as did a Queen and a handful of Lings. That was a very, very nice trade for Hero. That's exactly what he's looking for in the early game. And now DRG's game plan is just a little messed up. This is not where he wanted to be right now. He does have +1 on the way, though. In fact, it's getting pretty close. He's morphing Banelings right now. He's only making Lings and Banes. Oh, DRG is like, I don't think you have enough back at home to defend this. And he's going to send those Banes in. Shield Battery Overcharge turns on, and the Lings will target it down immediately. The Pylon stays up, but is it even going to matter? There's so much here. The Oracles will come back in and help. There's 4 of them. That is a lot of Oracle energy at Hero's disposal. 11 probes go down. As did, well, I don't even think any Stalkers went down here. 1 Stalker. But the static defense fell, as did the Pylon. So the next wave here is going to be a lot harder for Hero to deal with. He still has 4 Oracles, though. And he's been very good at turning them off when he doesn't need them. So he's saving some of that energy. The base taking some more damage, but staying alive. Ling's trying to break through the wall. Actually sneaking in a little bit. Look at him go. They are going to get into the main base, but the Oracles will have to turn on and deal with them. But remember, DRG wasn't droning during all of this, so he is just producing non-stop Lings. And as Hero holds more and more, it should get easier and easier because he's not losing units. Losing some probes, sure, he lost one stalker in the wall. But DRG is sacrificing a ton of units to get basically no damage done to the economy of a player who's already significantly ahead in economy. That is not ideal. He needs to be trading with units, keeping this unit count low. And now I feel like Hero's counterattack is going to be almost impossible to hold. Some stalkers do get caught. This base is in some trouble, but that's where the oracles come into play. These +1 lings going to try to get us around on some of these stalkers and the adepts. And it looks like they will force a blink back up onto the high ground, which the oracles will get vision of just in time. Hero doing a great job. Oh my god, this base got so low. Did not realize that, but the shield battery heals it right on up to full shields. And DRG, he's feeling pretty desperate right now. Some lings getting caught here as they go back in. They're going to go for it again. Probes getting pulled to try to keep this alive. And I don't think the +1 lings can do it. They can't take it out. This base down to 73 hit points, but it's going to live. DRG is just not stopping with the run buys. Not stopping at all. He's got roaches coming out now as well. Roaches are so bad against Blink Stalkers, though. And as the lings go in, the stalkers will go in on the other side. The lings might be able to get it this time, although there is another overcharge available. Ooh, yeah, he's going to get it, though. He's going to get it just barely. Squeaks it out. DRG finally gets the kill on the base, but can he hold against this army? What was that, 30 Blink Stalkers? That is so many. If Hero just trades efficiently here, DRG's on 46 workers. There's no shot DRG can hold this. Lings are going to hit this proxy gateway that got put down. Maybe catch a couple of stalkers there. I feel like Hero just needs to be somewhat cost efficient. He's got some zealots in here to help out as well, and that is just going to be it. DRG fighting so hard for that. Finally gets the third Nexus, but it's too little too late. His all-in counterattack to that harassment from Hero, he just washed into the wall. That was Hero's defense. Honestly, very good defense from Hero. It's funny, I didn't expect him to build like extra oracles there, and I don't think DRG did either. And those extra oracles were the difference between living and dying to that counterattack. If he's on 2 oracles there, there's just no shot. No shot he holds that first hit as well as he did. Now we're getting ready for game number 3. It's going to be on Hecate. Reminder that this is a Patreon-funded tournament. If you would like to support the tournament, consider checking out our Patreon and becoming a patron of the KSL today. Keep these tournaments going. We're running bi-weekly right now. Every other week, $400 tournaments for the Korean scene. Trying to keep food in the bellies of these players that keep us so very entertained. And I'll send out replays from every single event. You get the highest level replays from the highest level players. Speaking of which, as we hop into game number 3 here, spawning in the lower left-hand corner of Hecate, we've got Dragon Kitesy's Hero. And his opponent in the upper right, the red Zerg, it is Dongrigu. Excuse me for just a moment while I leave the microphone. Okay, I have returned. Did we miss anything? Anything exciting happen in the meantime? Not really. No cheesers here. Hero and DRG gonna play it out standard, unfortunately. You know, I do miss the amount of cheeses that we used to have, I feel like, in Starcraft. I'm sure pro players don't. But man, I feel like there was just a higher chance of seeing a forge go down. For, you know, a cheeky cannon rush or some sort of proxy or something, I don't know, something cheeky. Maybe I'm spoiled watching Dark also, who will just throw down Roach Warrens and proxy hatches much more frequently than any other Zerg at the highest level. It keeps it so much more interesting, I think. Like, I love me some good macro games, but I feel like if all we get are macro games, they get a little boring. You know, it gets a little like samey. We're just watching the same thing over and over again, and I don't know. I need cheesers in there to mix things up. This is really nice for DRG. He's gonna go ahead and grab a probe. Almost gets a second one there. Whew. Just barely. Just barely doesn't get that last hit in. But in the meantime, the Adept going to get in as well. So while DRG grabs a probe, Hero also grabs a drone. And he gets the 2 lings for it. Crazy good trades here from Hero. Look at that. Almost triple the resources lost for DRG. I love looking at early game stats like that and drawing conclusions about the rest of the game. If you see somebody like hasn't lost anything and we're just 2 minutes into a game, oh, it's a perfect game. We just played a perfect game. More oracles here. Interesting, we haven't seen Hero go for any like glaive adepts openings. Glaive adept openings. I feel like they're usually pretty popular against Zerg, but I don't know, maybe DRG is just good at handling them. Hero doesn't feel like it'd be worth it to throw it out there right now. Instead, opting for the more standard and maybe more versatile Oracle opening. And I imagine it's going to be back into Blink Stalkers here for Hero, but we'll see what he decides to go for off the Twilight Council. No Forge this time, so could be straight in charge. Now that's the Oracle control I was looking for from Hero. 4 drones, doesn't lose any Oracles. In fact, barely loses his shields on these Oracles. Keeping them pretty high up on HP. Oh, there's the Forge. Forge, some gateways, third base, all sorts of exciting stuff here for Hero. Oh, and that's going to be 5 Adepts this time. So again, big Adept commitment in the early game from Hero. Trying to target down some drones, and not just trying, very much succeeding, as 11, 12 drones going down. Oh my god, this is a lot of damage. This is an insane amount of damage. 16 drones at 5.5 minutes into this game. DRG's economy taking a tank. Down to 40 workers there. He is going to drone up behind us as he sends the lings for a counterattack. +1 melee is only about halfway done. Hero, though, he's got nothing here. He has 3 oracles, and he is counting on this oracle energy to be enough to keep these lings away. DRG going to split the lings up, make this a little bit more difficult. Should be able to grab a stalker. More stalkers warping in over here. Blink and +1R on the way for Hero. It looks like the lings have been stuffed for now. Another oracle pops out. And Hero, he's defending. Defending the counterattack. This is when DRG needed to get some big damage done. He needed to get in there, kill some stalkers, kill some probes. He does get a couple of stalkers, but I just don't think it's worth it. And we see the oracle defense going to be very good here for Hero. DRG going up to 50 workers, but back into Lings. His Roach Warren and his Lair are on the way. But his economy is still, I mean, down in the dumps. Hero has been up on workers for a while now. And DRG needs to figure out how to fight from behind economically. I kind of have a feeling we're going to see that Ling Bane Roach style again. He seemed to be favoring that one down in workers in game 1 of this series. And in game 1 of the last series. These oracles are so nice for Hero. They're pretty much out of juice right now, but I think by the time DRG gets like an army up to push across or anything, they're gonna have most of their energy back. We do see DRG droning up this 4th base now, so he's not fully committing to the low eco just yet. That being said, DRG did win game 1 with, it was a decent economy, but it wasn't by any means a crazy economy. Hero had Storm and a lot of Stalkers in that game, so we'll see if he changes it up here. He's just going for charge right now, +2 attack, no splash damage or anything yet. Mostly counting on these oracles to do the anti-Ling damage here. But the oracles, as good as they are, they struggle a lot more against the roaches, and eventually they will just run out of energy. That is a big problem with them. If your units that are going to be the hard counter units are just out of juice, they have a tough time countering anything. It looks like they're going to try to dive in here, maybe get some drone damage. Yeah, targets down a few, gets a few on each side, so there's going to be 7 drones in total. Sees what's going on in the main base. Not much to see, though. I mean, I guess he sees that it's a lair still at 8.5 minutes. And that might tell him something, because DRG he's breaking down rocks in the middle of the map. Trying to get that army up. It's good army supply for him right now, 85 to 56. And Hero has been pretty passive with his Stalkers. They are moving out a little bit now, but at the same time, the wall is getting hit back at home. The Super Shield Battery is not enough to deal with this. Force Fields, though, will hold these roaches out long enough for the Stalkers to get back. And now the Stalkers actually on the outside of the wall, going to be able to chase these Lings and Roaches, but hold the phone. Lings from the top side as well. There's also Lings hitting the 4th base here. DRG is trying to grab this army. Stalkers will get out of there. The Oracles, rest of them come back to help out. Looks like this base is going to stay alive for now. DRG getting in, but not getting a ton of damage done. That being said, Hero's economy, it's at 91 probes, but the army supply definitely in DRG's favor as he is again going for that low-tech, high numbers composition. Hero trying to chrono boost out some immortals. Those can absolutely be crucial in these fights, but there's still no splash damage here for Hero. He's just counting on number of units, counting on these oracles to help him out. Let's see if the Banelings can smash through on this side. Oh, finally some Archons from Hero being made at a kind of a perfect time right before the Lings and Banes come in, and actually they're even scouted. Hero, he's so walled in as well. I mean, he is going full wall here, which is helping him out tremendously. DRG is just going to sacrifice a bunch of Lings to kill these rocks as the Lings and Banes dive in over here, but the Super Shield Battery, the Archons, and Charge Lots hold on. Oh, man, and Hero's Gateway Army is now starting to catch up to DRG's in terms of those numbers, and that's where it becomes a problem for DRG because he is down on economy. He is counting on overwhelming before Hero has that big army. But Hero has the big army now. Oh, DRG going to try to take advantage of the wall being a little open, though. Get some Lings into the natural in the main. Now he's going to try to fight the army here in the middle. I don't think he can quite do that. The static defense is holding on really nicely for Hero, losing a few probes. But considering how many he had, I actually think it's good. Now he can just replace that with army, and the army supply is going to be a lot closer. DRG, again, just trying to jump on top of this. With the Oracles adding so much extra damage. This Immortal doing so much damage on the backside. 3 more Immortals show up. A bunch of Stalkers, some High Templar with Storm, and Hero's ground army is looking terrifying. I do not think DRG is going to have what it takes to bust through this with the Ling Bane Roach. That worked so well for him in game 1. Gave him an edge in the series. but it feels like Hero has it figured out. He knows what he is about, and he's got a 5th base on the way. He's going to go try to take this 5th base out. Baneling smashing forward. The High Templar gets killed. These Immortals on the wrong side of the fight. This is about as good of a fight as DRG could have hoped for, but even so, the Blink Stalkers are going to be so cost efficient here. The Prism goes down, but I don't think it's even going to matter. The Oracle's turning on, just helping out a little bit in whatever way they can. They're all going to die, but so is DRG as a Hero. Takes game number 3 and closes the series out with the 2-1 victory. GG.